Hi, I'm Xavier. So on this video, I'm going to cover how to place a cold call with a prospect. It's not a presentation. It's a setup call that will lead to the presentation. And that's what we call a cold call. Now, I know you have started to look for customers and your first job was your to-do list. What you need to do is to call your prospect on your list. And this is exactly what you will do. This video is totally actionable. That means that after you see the video, you will be able to take action, and that's what we want. Just follow the script, and I know you'll do great. First of all, let's set up the stage. There's going to be 3 people on that call. You are Xavier, your coach, whose name is Israel, and your prospect, which is Peter. So you're going to do a 3-way call with your coach Israel and your prospect Peter. For this call, you already have your coach Israel on the line on mute, and you are going to call Peter, your prospect. And you're going to do small talk like, "Hi Peter, how are you doing? How's your wife doing? How about the kids? How's the baby doing?" Etc. etc. Then you're going to go into the nitty-gritty of your call, and you're going to tell them, "Listen, I'm calling you because I just started this new job opportunity and the potential is huge. And we are looking for other people to start a huge team. I'm working with a fantastic coach. I have learned more with him in 1 month than with any other coach in 10 years. It's really fantastic. He's really in high demand and he's very busy. And I told him that you would be a great asset to the team because I know you and I know all you have done for you and for your family. Would you have a couple of minutes? Because I would like him to get on this call with us for just a couple of minutes. Would you be willing to listen to what we're doing?" So then most probably the person says yes. And you immediately get your coach and introduce him with the prospect. And you say, "Hi Israel, this is Peter, he's my coach and he's a fantastic person." And then you let your coach do the talking. That's all you have to do. Just present your coach. Let him do the talking. That's it. Then your coach is coming in and he say, "Hi Peter, I'm Israel. So, Xavier told me a little bit about you." And your prospect is saying, "Really? Yeah, Xavier mentioned that you could be a great fit for what we're doing right now. May I ask you what you do now for work?" So they can say a lot of things, right? They can say, "Well, I'm in construction. I work for the government. I am a nanny. I clean pools. I do Uber or Lyft. I clean houses. I'm looking for a job. I work in a factory," things like that, right? And then you immediately fire the follow-up question. "Do you like what you do?" And they might answer, something like, "Yeah, somehow," or maybe "not really," or maybe, "Well, I couldn't find something else," or maybe you're gonna say, "It would be nice if I could change my boss," or maybe, "It pays the bill, so that's why I'm doing it." All of those are pain points, and we are going to use those pain points. At this point, it's really important that you pick up on what they're telling you, because when they start to complain about their job, even mildly, that's a telltale that maybe they doesn't like what they're doing right now. Maybe they're just working there because they receive a check every 2 weeks. So unless they tell you, "Oh, I love my job," you need to reinforce one or several pain points, right? So just pick two. Two is enough. For example, you can ask, "What do you mean by I could change my boss or it only pays the bill?" And you listen to the answer, because they're going to complain and complain about what they do at their current job and why they don't like it. Then you develop and you say, "Well, what if I told you that I was in the same situation as you about 6 months ago and I fired my boss?" And you ask them, "Would you love to fire your boss?" And they probably will say, "Hell yeah!" That's when you say, at this moment in your life, would you say that you would be ready for an amazing opportunity to make more money for you? Would that make sense to you to pick it up? If they're already fed up, they have nothing to lose. then they will be open to listen to whatever you say. So what they say is yes. So the mentor answer is here. Okay, look, right now I have a very busy schedule. I did not plan this call. So we will have to get together later on a Zoom meeting so I can give you all of the details. Would that work with you? And they will most probably say yes. And then you set up your appointment and you're asking them, okay, what about tomorrow at 9 p.m. or on Wednesday at 6 p.m.? Which one would work best with you? And then you're done. It's a done deal. But of course, they also can say, I don't have the time right now. Are you selling something? I just got promoted at my job. I'd like to know more before the Zoom call, or it's not really what I'm looking for, or any excuse they have, right? What you have to do at that moment is immediately turn the call into a possible sale. How do you do that? So you say, okay, not a problem. I get it. We all have so much to do in a day. So we are very busy. As Xavier was saying, he's currently in training to pass his license. And one of the things he has to do to pass his license is listening to several presentations. He has to take notes. And the more presentation he's doing, the more points for him. So would you mind helping Xavier with one of those presentations? So maybe they're going to say, yeah, but what do I need to do? And you say, nothing. You don't have to do nothing. Just listen. And if you have questions, we will answer them. Or they may say, how long it's going to take? So be real, right? Don't say it's going to take 10 minutes because it's going to take between 20 and 30 minutes. So just say, well, it's going to take between 20 and 30 minutes. So then we'll most probably say, okay, I might do that. Again, let the coach ask a couple of questions about their social status. Like, are they married? Do they have kids? Are they renting? If they're married, just tell them, okay, that's perfect. On the day of the Zoom, could you come with your spouse? That would be a great idea if both of you can listen to what we're doing. And then you set up the Zoom appointment, same thing, right? And then that's done. You set up the appointment. Done deal. So now, once the appointment is set up, thank the prospect. Just tell him that it was great talking with me and you are looking for talking with him on Wednesday or on Saturday, whatever it is, right? And this is where it's important. It's a cold call, and that's cold call is here only to lead to a presentation. And unless the prospect says, no, that is willing to listen to at least 20 minutes of your presentation. During the presentation, it's going to be your job to turn him into a team leader or maybe into a customer. Remember, that will be done during the presentation, not during the cold call. The cold call should not be more than 5 minutes. The shorter it is, the better it is. During the cold call, never try to convince anybody. If they say no, just say, okay, maybe for next time we can set up something. Just thank them. Thank you, Peter. It was nice talking to you. You only want to get appointments with people that will match what you're looking for. People who are open, who will listen to what you're saying, hungry people willing to look for an opportunity. That's the kind of people you want to be on the phone with. And if that's not the case, forget about it. As a coach, that's how you should be ending the cold call, how you should be filtering people, helping your new agents schedule even more appointments. Because remember, if you can show them success fast, they're going to stay with you for the long run because they're going to see that it's easy. And if you have them doing the calling and they had to get into explaining what they do when they don't really know how much about it, then they're just gonna be frustrated because they're not going to get any appointment. And then once they realize that they can't get any appointment, then they're probably gonna quit because they're gonna think, well, this thing is not going to work for me. So with your agent, you're just gonna use the three-way method to schedule those appointments. You invite people to your meeting, to your private business meeting. That's how you handle a cold call with prospects. Thank you so much for listening, and I'll talk to you very soon. Bye-bye.